Good morning, KBOI listeners. This is Dylan Stalker, your 3.5 generation Idahoan here on the Great Idaho Show. What is the Great Idaho Show? As you are all getting used to this on this 7 a.m. in the morning listening slot for KBOI radio, the Great Idaho Show is what I, a multi-generational Idahoan, think that is great about Idaho, and it's either something that I've experienced or heard about or know about to be a good experience, a good relationship, and a good impact to Idaho. Before we get into our very special guest today, I'm going to mention our sponsor because sponsors are important. That's what keeps us here, and they are also what's great about Idaho. Old Arms of Idaho is great because they're in the history business. It is whether you have a collectible or historical firearm or military or Western item. This isn't, something that is in mass media today. These are pretty much relics and things that you would be curious about, and it's all history, and we should preserve it. You can visit them at oldarmsofidaho.com. But today we are going to be speaking to Reiley Carney. Reiley is the finance and inventory manager of today's show, which is the Snake River Seed Co-op. Reiley, welcome to the show today.
Hi, Dylan. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit of background, why we'd have Reiley with us today. My wife, who has got 2 green thumbs and maybe 2 green big toes too, she could do it standing on her head, has been engaged with the Snake River Seed Co-op for a very long time. And I've been experiencing it for a very long time, from many years ago, even back to things like seed sharing and seed trading events where you would take the seeds that you grew in your backyard and share them with other people that grew their seeds in their backyard, and participating in businesses that have supported the Snake River Seed Co-op, like the North End Organic Nursery, and just trying to have seeds. And Reiley, at any time, please correct me, okay? But it is sometimes my assumptions, but this is about having seeds that are non-GMO, organic seeds that are grown right here in the local area by other interested people that are focusing on and growing these seeds and sharing them essentially through the cooperative of the Snake River Seed Co-op. Is that a fair description of what y'all do?
Yes, it is. I would say that increasing seed-saving knowledge in the region is something that we are really big on. Doing the seed swaps. I don't know how long we've been doing that, but it's probably over a decade now.
It's got to be, because it was at least 10 years ago my wife was doing it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. So we love engaging with the community, and we love just meeting new farmers who are interested in learning about seed saving, as well as gardeners who want to learn more about that.
And I think that it's a lot to do with an old sense of the preservation of what the work we put into this, right? It's one thing to grow something, but to get the seeds from it and use it next year and see the continuation of something that you've either created, which you are creating by just putting water on it, right? Like, there's a historical sense to that that's just interesting to me.
Yeah, there's definitely, just in human history, seed saving is one of the activities that we've been doing for generations.
Yeah.
And it does have that kind of nostalgic feel when you do it. There's some memory there.
Yeah, there's definite value, right? It's, we've gotten into this convenience world. There's a saying that convenience kills, right? Convenience just is, there's something not healthy about convenience. And, growing the favorite tomato crop that you've ever had, and then learning how to, my wife saves seeds all the time. Learned it, I'm sure, through y'all and the relationships in many ways. But you have to, like, in a tomato, break the seed down of its little protective barrier to save it. There's like ways to do these things. It's like canning and things that are, of old, but there's so much value in it. And you guys, I feel like, have a connection to that. That's like a fuel, a source for you to keep going at it.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of the farmers who we work with now who save seeds with us, when they first started, they actually had no seed saving experience.
Yeah.
And, some of these farmers have been farming for decades, and they just grow the vegetables and they sell the vegetables to their customers at market or CSA. And they at some point realize, wow, we have not completed the life cycle of the plant on our farm. And that's how they really start to get interested in saving seeds.
It seems like something that would be natural.
Mm-hmm.
But when your business gets cluttered with just the business and not the foundation, you miss that, it seems like.
Yeah, I think that there's also a lack of knowledge. And I think that is improving, where it's just something that, farmers have been told to buy hybrid seeds for the best yield. But what we're interested in is adapting seeds for the Intermountain West region so that they are high yielding and they can be open pollinated. You can save the seed year after year, so you don't have to go back to that company to buy seeds again.
Yeah, you are creating a biosphere of empowering people to keep it going, right? And I love that. I know that about y'all, and I'm just a bystander that's participating in something that I love with my wife, who's worked in nurseries and been a part of that for her whole life. I'm learning from her in many ways, and I love it, and I love talking to y'all about it. How, for those of you who don't know, what inspired the Snake River Seed Cooperative creation? How did it get going?
Yeah, so it actually started with kind of two different organizations. The first one was the Commonwealth Seed Library that Casey O'Leary and Carrie Jones founded. And then the other business was Earthly Delights Farm. So that was Casey O'Leary's farm. And while she was saving seeds for herself, she actually received just input from Lindsay at North End Organic Nursery that she thought Casey should start selling her seeds at the nursery.
Why not?
So Casey kind of took these two things that were happening and combined them into Snake River Seed Cooperative. And there have been so many benefits that have come out of that. One benefit is that with a lot of crops, there are isolation requirements that make it so you can only grow one crop in your field at a time of that plant type. So basil, for example, will cross-pollinate with other basil varieties.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So with a cooperative model, we have so many farms around the region that each farm can do a different basil crop so that they're not cross-pollinating on one farm. So that's just one benefit of the cooperative model.
So in the cooperative model, which has been a model in farming for a long time, right, which is everybody puts in what they have together and benefits as the whole, but in the seed idea, like something that you just said, being able to grow multiple variants of one type of thing without the cross-pollination. How many different cooperative members are providing these seeds?
Yeah, so we currently have, we have 16 co-op members, and there are 33 farmers total. So we do work with some farmers who are not co-op members technically, but they're interested in engaging with the co-op, learning more about seed saving, and most of them are located in Idaho. But we do have a few that are just around the edges of the state too, in our neighbors.
But that's a concept of the Northwest, right? Mm-hmm. The Northwest is a very large footprint. To give the border of Idaho something is like insignificant to a seed that's been around for tens of thousands of years and say, well, you can't cross a river and go over here into Oregon or something like that. Like I love the Northwest appeal for that kind of a thing. Right. Mm-hmm. So, in the early days of the cooperative, how has it changed from the initial vision to what it is today, do you think?
Oh, how has it changed?
I mean, it's got bigger, I'm sure. That changes initiatives in a little bit, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I think that what we've seen is just more small-scale farmers who are getting involved. At the beginning, we had more small-scale seed savers involved, so not necessarily farmers. I just love to see growth, right? When you talked about the early days, it's just people with interest coming together and being like, hey, saving seeds might be important. And it is important, and it is
preserving heirloom seeds and I'm assuming seeds develop a little over time into different things or people's interests without some technological machine converting them into something. You guys are organic, right? That's your main goal.
Yeah, so we are not certified organic, but we do use organic growing methods. All of our farmers sign that pledge. And I totally agree with you that we have seen varieties change over time.
Yeah.
Even if it's slight changes, they're adapting to this place where they're being grown.
It's air and water and soil content, right? Like a seed's gonna adapt, right? So welcome, KBOI listeners. This is Dylan Stalker, the Great Idaho Show. We are speaking to Reiley Carney, the finance and inventory manager for Snake River Seed Co-op. Just very interesting. It's the spring. The sun is out. It's time to scream and shout and maybe get your seeds going. And we'll be coming back in this next segment talking more to Reiley about the Snake River Seed Cooperative and a really great thing happening here in Idaho right here on KBOI Radio. Welcome back, everyone. This is Dylan Stalker, your 3.5 generation Idahoan, just simply trying to share what is great about Idaho. What is great today about Idaho is we are speaking to Reiley Carney. Reiley Carney is the finance and inventory manager for the Snake River Seed Cooperative. The Snake River Seed Cooperative over many years now has grown into something that is growing and preserving the northwest grown seeds from an organic standpoint. If you're going to go and buy some seeds and just grow them, why not get something that's been cultivated by many interested parties contributing to one singular effort to grow organic, northwest grown and cultivated seeds through the Snake River Seed Cooperative. And we welcome Reiley Carney back this segment. Reiley, we're going to talk a little bit about kind of maybe Idaho and local impact from what you all are doing, because I'm sure you've had lots of things transpiring more than just selling seeds. Why is it important to have seeds grown and adapted specifically to Idaho and the Intermountain West?
Yeah, so one reason is because seeds that are adapted for the Intermountain West are going to grow better here in the Intermountain West. So that means higher yields, more resistance to the common diseases in our area. You'll also see just plants that are able to produce within our growing seasons, because some areas do have shorter growing seasons. And yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, no problem. So what if you can think back over the years, maybe even in some of the early years of it, there's a success story somewhere in there where sometimes you start something much like this show, the Great Idaho Show. I'm just a regular person that loves radio, and I'm like, I love Idaho, so how can I contribute? I hope I have some success stories, but even in your early days, is there some story that comes to mind for you?
Yes, absolutely. I would say our big success story is becoming a legal cooperative.
Okay.
So when we first started the business, actually Casey and Carrie co-founded it.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was an LLC. So just two owners at that time.
Yeah.
We already had cooperative in our name because it was intended to have the cooperative spirit, even though it was an LLC.
Like people sharing and helping others, right?
Yes. So we were very transparent about the finances with our growers. That's been the case since the beginning of the business. And then in 2021, we, after years of talking about becoming a legal cooperative, we finally started the process. And it took many months. Many farmers were involved, providing input on how to create the governing documents for the business. And then at the end of that year, 2021, is when we did make the leap from LLC to a legal cooperative.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Lots of paperwork, right? My goodness.
Definitely a lot of learning curve there that we had to figure out. And it's also an employee and farmer-owned cooperative, which is pretty rare. There's a lot of cooperatives that are consumer-owned or employee-owned or farmer-owned, but combining employee and farmer is what we decided to do, and that's something that we're really proud of.
And in the definition of the cooperative itself, does that essentially mean that through your guiding mission, which I should ask you, I'm assuming as the lay person that it's about organic seeds grown in the Northwest by people who are interested in preserving and growing a food bank through seeds, if you will, and keeping it going. But, what does it mean for the cooperative now? What is the technical difference between just an LLC and a cooperative?
Yeah, so it means more buy-in from all of the people that are involved in the business. We like to imagine that having many hands holding the seeds make them safer. If you have seeds in one location, they're more susceptible to, if there was a fire or some sort of water damage.
Sure.
But if we have seeds spread out across the region and we have seed-saving knowledge spread out across the region, we see that as being kind of a safety net for us in case of times where the supply chain experiences difficulties.
Okay, so that's interesting to me. Is that a scenario where you have multiple participants and they have multiple property types, whether they be facing the east, west, south, or what have you? They have either, some different soil type. Is that something where the cooperative was like, hey, you over here, you might consider growing these type seeds here to try to grow the diversity of the cooperative, but also, like you're saying, protect it? Is that an essential thing?
Yes, absolutely. There are certain varieties that grow better in certain parts of our region, and we've been learning about that over time.
Yeah.
So having a farmer in Montana who can easily produce a beet crop, whereas maybe some of the crops that like hotter weather, they aren't going to do as well there. So having many farmers across the region helps our diversity of plants.
That's pretty neat. And I love the concept that you just said about, we have natural disasters, it's flooding, we can wipe an entire crop out of its thing. If we're not saving those seeds, and we're sharing two different geographical locations on how to grow them, it becomes challenging for the organic food movement, I would assume, to try to keep it preserved and going, because the scientific food network has been what's populated our American food system for so long,
Yes. We've definitely seen a consolidation of our food system as a nation. And so Snake River Seed, something that we want to see more of is a regional food system.
Yeah, that's great. And in clarification, what's your website? Where would anybody interested go and look closer into y'all?
Our website is snakeriverseeds.com, and you can find lots of information about us there, as well as all of the 400 different varieties that we carry.
Oh, wow, 400.
Yes.
That is quite a bit. You should have somebody for the 400 club, like somebody that had everyone and successfully grew one of every 400 seed on the property. It's like, you're in the 400 club.
I like that challenge. That sounds fun.
That is pretty cool, right? That'd be fun. So how do you have an example, or would you be willing or able to share an example of the seeds used in more of a bulk or used in a farming sense? Maybe there's somebody that uses them and takes them to the Boise local farmers market, or is maybe regionally producing food.
Yeah, we do sell seeds to a lot of different farmers. Most of them buy through our website, and they're ordering seed in bulk. They're planting out usually maybe a field's worth of something,
Sure.
and then they will be selling it at their local grocery store or to their direct to the customers at their farmers market.
And maybe hopefully preserving them too, and learning preserving. It is a funny concept to me to be a farmer and not want to preserve your seeds naturally, right? Like, it seems that should be natural, but it lost its pace there for a while.
Yeah, it is really strange to me too. I think once you get the bug, the seed saving bug, you just want to keep doing it. So people are definitely catching on to that.
That's really interesting. So what's something most people do not realize about where their seeds come from and how they're produced today? Like, if you're just in any old, we don't want to name any stores or anything and protect the businesses, but just any seed off the shelf, versus a Snake River seed, what may be something people don't realize about those seeds?
I would say the most common thing is that even if a seed company is located here in the United States, That does not mean that the seeds were produced in the United States.
Okay,
in fact, a lot of seeds are produced internationally, sold as commodity crops, sold for a very low price. And honestly, the quality of that seed is going to reflect that system that it was grown in.
And in that system, I mean, it might be like an obvious thing, but it seems like the system that is growing those seeds for mass production don't exactly have the greatest genetic care for what's coming out of those seeds, or there is some sort of genetic change within them. Would that be something you could assume for most of that stuff?
Yeah, what I like to think about is most of our farmers are located, their farms are about 3 acres or smaller. Some are just 1 acre farms. So they're in their field every day. They're walking through their crops. They are seeing every single plant that they're growing regularly. And they're pulling off types as they're doing that work, hands-on. Whereas in a large monoculture field, the farmer is not able to have eyes on every plant that they're growing. The quality is going to go down over time.
I'm just imagining, like, as you be involved over time, it is evolution, I believe, where you have the seed that you started with, and then you've saved, and you've kept on going with the same generation of seed. And then after 10 or 15 years from here to there, there's some sort of like change that comes out in the product from those seeds that you almost can't even put a finger to. You're just like, maybe it was a different soil composition or something happened. Is that something that people would experience?
Yes, we talk often about genetic bottlenecking. That's where a seed is saved year after year after year without adding in any new genetics. And over time, you will start to lose some of the original just vastness of genetics. And when that happens, the crop itself declines in quality.
That's like developed science, but it's science that I just can't imagine being the first person to have discovered that. You're like, why is my seeds? I've been doing this for 10 years exactly the same way. Like, what happened to my seeds? But I also think about the curiosity of a farmer, like, what happens if I put these, I let these two come together a little bit and see the variance and things like that.
That is definitely the fun of seed saving. We love to have more genetic diversity. That, to us, genetic diversity is a symbol of a stable ecosystem. It means that the plants will be able to handle whether it's a drought or a flood, like you were talking about earlier. Having wide genetics just gives the crop a better chance at survival with anything that comes at it.
Yeah, I mean, how many layers can we go down? I mean, it's a pretty complex issue when we're talking about food. We're talking about food here with the Snake River Seed Cooperative and Reiley Carney, the finance and inventory manager here on the Great Idaho Show. We're going to be finishing up this segment and coming back here in just a moment, right here on KBOI Radio. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dylan Stalker, your host of the Great Idaho Show. And in this welcome back, we're speaking to Reiley Carney, the finance and inventory manager of the Snake River Seed Cooperative. SnakeRiverSeeds.com, right, Reiley?
That's right.
Okay, cool. So SnakeRiverSeeds.com. This is a great effort. We have to call it an effort. It's like a business, but it's more than just a business. It's a cooperative in the truest sense. In a previous segment, Reiley was helping us know that they have come together as a legal, true cooperative, which is many different individuals participating in one common goal to essentially, the way I understand it in my words, which is to preserve seeds of being that were grown in the northwestern area here and be able to share them with all of you and help ensure that we're not dealing in GMO seeds and a lot of that scientific stuff that you've heard for in the food system. And this is just really healthy seed stock that you can engage with that was all put together by a group of people that all have a common interest. Is that a fair way to say that?
It is, yes. Our mission is to grow a Our mission is to grow a robust regional seeds shed for the Intermountain West. So when we imagine a seed shed, we think of the watershed.
Sure.
So we've got rivers and creeks all flowing together. We see seeds doing the same thing. They're flowing through the region. That we see that as a healthy food system.
I like the graphical image of that because every watershed has a different tributary, and in that tributary is a different little value, right? And in the graphical image of what you just described, it could be like, this river of tomato seeds over here and this river of basil seeds coming down over here, and just seeing the graphical image of the way you described that is really interesting. I love that. So in seeds and growing and education, how do y'all decide which plants and seeds to focus on every year?
Oh, that's a great question. So we do have different projects going on where some of our growers are working to breed new varieties that they'll introduce into the cooperative. Usually those projects happen organically. It's somehow it percolates where there's seeds that are gifted to us for a particular project. Right now we're working on a pepper breeding project, and we're trying to breed a new pepper that grows really well from seed, essentially direct seeded into the soil, eliminating the need to grow it in a pot beforehand.
Okay, so that's how many layers it goes, right? Like some seeds, it's really important to germinate in whatever germination system that you've learned or saw on TV or Instagram or learned from your grandma. But you're talking about growing seeds that you just right into the dirt, put some water on it, watch it for, 3 months or whatever the growing system is, and come out that way.
Yes, and we're so excited about this pepper project. The seeds were actually gifted to us from a farmer that's located in New Mexico.
Okay.
And so the seeds we're starting with are New Mexican landrace varieties. And a landrace variety, that means that it has wide genetics. It's been grown in one place for decades or hundreds of years, depending on the variety. So it has long history in New Mexico. Now she gifted the seeds to us to start an Idaho bred variety using that wide base of genetics.
That is so, I love that you're highlighting something about seed and seed development through this conversation that, for the lay person, the just somebody who might be tuning in on the radio, like the word seed diversity comes from a combination of decades, if not centuries, and then geographical locations, and then different timing and water concepts and different soil concepts to bring all of this one, what would be called a product together, but it's a singular product that's about to create a bunch of products.
It's amazing.
That we all get to eat, right?
Yes, they're exponential growth. Seed saving, you plant one seed, you get 500 or 1,000 at the end of the season.
I love the idea, and we've done this, right? Because my wife participates quite a bit in all of those things in seed saving. We do it every year, but each individual plant has a way to save the seeds the right way, right? You can't just come out and grab your seed saver and spin it in the bucket and then come out seeds, right? How do y'all focus on that or share your techniques?
Yes, so we have a seed saving zine that has tips for all of the main vegetables. You can get that on our website. We do have a free PDF version that people can download there, or you can order a print copy. And for our farmers, what they're doing is every year they're trying to grow some of the same crops that they've already been growing so that they can improve their skills with those crops. And they're also growing new crops to them, something that they've never saved the seed of before so that they can learn about that variety. And while every crop is a little bit different, there are a lot of similarities. So the more that you do it, the more just general knowledge you have and the better that you get at seed saving.
Yeah, you've got ground and you're like, I think we're going to try to grow this, and I want to have that imagination that it's 100% success. You know what I mean? But even then it just, if it were that easy, everybody would just be doing it, right? There's got to be a little bit of tribulation in there at times, whether it rained for a straight week and nothing I could do. Mm-hmm. There's got to be quite a bit of experiences that they're having. What was a recent maybe weather experience or something that your farmers had, suffered through or had to learn through?
Yes, a lot of our farmers have expressed to me that the fire seasons, the smoke in the air, have been affecting their crops.
Okay.
So that's something that at this point, we don't know a lot about. We're kind of keeping an eye on it and trying to support the farmers that are experiencing difficulties with that.
That might be, I'm just assuming, smoke in the air?
Yes.
Yes,
just
air qualities?
Smoke.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, so it does, there is, obviously in farming, there's, weather events and things like that, but we have a weather season in Idaho. It's called fire.
Yes.
Unfortunately. So it's interesting that we have to have that concept for somebody that wasn't even within 100 miles of a fire.
Yeah. So the plants are most likely not getting as much of the sunlight because of the smoke in the air.
Yeah, that's like, and they're babies, right? It's just like, people getting connected to them. But how does a partnership work out with a cooperative? Let's say we have somebody that's got a few acres and maybe they don't know a dang thing, but man, I'd sure love to get involved. How would they engage with you?
So the first step is for that person to try saving seed on their own. Just gain a little bit of experience, at least 1 year, just trying it out so that you can do the hands-on what it actually is to save a seed. And from there, you can contact us on our website at snakeriverseeds.com. Let us know that you're interested in producing a crop with us, and we'll start the process of onboarding you as a grower.
That is, so most anybody could get involved. I'm sure there's a light bit of, screening and understanding process because the Snake River Seed Cooperative, snakeriverseeds.com, wants to put out a quality product for all of their end users. And so I'm sure there's some quality checks in there. What are maybe some community events that just getting started folks could come participate and get involved?
This summer, actually, we are hosting several different events across the state of Idaho. They're obviously focused on seed saving. I don't have the specific dates or locations yet, but we will be releasing those very soon in the next month or two. And that will be in our social media and our emailed newsletter if you want to stay in touch with us.
So, leading into the social media, what a great content. And I'm assuming you guys have some things that you share that are fun and interesting that you watch. What are the different places that people could come and find you and follow along every day in the social media sense?
So we are on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube. Okay. Those are the main ones.
Okay, so is it Snake River Seed Cooperative or Snake River Seed Co-op?
Snake River Seed Co-op.
For your handles and things like that. Mm-hmm. How about in the YouTube content? How often do y'all put something out for people to enjoy?
Actually, I just posted 3 videos this morning. So we've got content going back over a decade and some new videos coming out all the time.
I love that you can go back and just, you find some content that you're just really interested in. It's not going away. We can look at this 24 hours a day, right? So I like the YouTube sense and that. So you've got some neat content to go look out and maybe get out of these really not great local news cycles and go focus on some things that are really wholesome, saving seeds, growing food. I was reading your little bio and there was a set of words in there that I associate to really, really well. And I'm like, let's grow food, not grass. Yeah. We've got these properties and we have really expensive water that we're utilizing. And in a drip system, the amount of water that you use is so much less than hydrating this grass, which I believe in grass too. Grass is one of the world's biggest oxygen producers and carbon savers in the world, grass by itself. But at the same time, you could utilize some Northwest grown seeds from organic minded people and put them in your yard and create a little drip system and go pull tomatoes.
Yes, even if you just take out maybe 2 square feet of area, plant a tomato there. That's all you have to do to start.
It really is that simple, right?
Yes, and I also love the idea of planting things for, for human food, but also for animals and for the insects that visit your garden, because your yard is an ecosystem in itself.
Absolutely. I'm a huge, I'll never forget in our yard, like we grow clover on purpose because I think just bees and clover, that's why they have clover honey. Right. And the chemical weed person stopped by and knocks on the door and like, I can get rid of all that clover for you. And I'm just like, I'm growing it on purpose, man. Like, I love the clover,
Yes, we love that.
Do y'all have a clover variety? Is somebody growing that?
We don't. That's one of the larger crops that at this point we're not offering, but obviously there's a lot of seed out there that you can get for clover.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of it out there. I just love the clover. If I'm going to grow something that's like grass, it'll be clover that flowers and the bees love it. And I'll take the bee sting on the bottom of the foot every once in a while, but I'm not allergic, so I'm lucky to be able to say that. So we're getting close to the end of this next segment. We're talking to Reiley Carney. This is Dylan Stalker, your host of the Great Idaho Show. The Snake River Seed Cooperative is something that is great about Idaho. We have a lot of, and it does go beyond the Idaho region a little bit where they get it, but we have a cooperative of people that are all, from just a curiosity and wanting to get involved, growing and preserving seeds of native interest, but also, from what I understand, not so native, to just grow the diversity of seeds and the science of seeds into healthy variants that can successfully grow and develop in our northwestern area. And being able to talk to Reiley today, you can go. Well, excuse me, it's fun. I'm excited about it. And you can go to snakeriverseeds.com. You can look up Snake River Seed Co-op in Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and a couple of others that Reiley had mentioned. Before we close out today, I just remind you of our sponsor, which is in the history business, ladies and gentlemen. If it is a curio, a relic, something that's historically associated to a firearm, Western or military, Old Arms of Idaho, oldarmsofidaho.com. And welcome back, everyone. This is Dylan Stalker, your host of The Great Idaho Show, thegreatidahoshow.com, where you can listen to this here little program that you're listening to today with me speaking to Reiley Carney, the finance and inventory manager of the Snake River Seed Cooperative, snakeriverseeds.com. Again, you can go to thegreatidahoshow.com and listen anytime. If you've missed any portion of this, please feel free to listen. You'll be able to listen to that ad-free, but just remember while you're listening here on the radio, these ads, KBOI, they are what support us being able to have AM talk radio that goes way beyond the boundaries of Idaho, because we're on the largest station in Idaho, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it. Again, I'm welcoming you back, speaking to Reiley Carney of the Snake River Seed Cooperative. Reiley, wasn't that just funny? We're talking to this amazing gentleman, Scott. Scott, sorry for mentioning your name. That is asked a beautiful question. When you think seeds, a lot of people are just into food, right? A tomato seed, a cucumber seed, a beet seed, a potato seed. But y'all are more just food seeds. What other kind of seeds are available at the Snake River Seed Co-op?
So in addition to vegetables and, grains and herbs, we also have many different types of flowers, some of which are native plants that are, they've been growing here for centuries or thousands of years, evolving to this region. And you can find all of those on our website. So
my wife and I engage in that. We have some property in the Sawtooth area, I'll say. And we bought a wildflower seed pack, or a bunch of them, because we have quite an area that we were trying to cover. This is a project last year, and we're trying to be like, what banks would they grow on the natural way, and just spreading them. Some of those seeds are of a flower type that were probably around before the humans here. Is that an effort for people to go collect the seeds from the wildflowers in the wild and then cultivate them?
Many of the native plants that we have are wild harvested, and then some are produced on farms as well.
They've got to start from somewhere, right?
Yes. So they all were wild harvested at one point if they're on farms.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to be a part of that. I'm like, let's go for a walk, find some flowers and capture some seeds and see if we can get them to grow in a human environment, I guess.
Yeah, you can do that, Dylan. You can do it.
I'm going to do it, I promise. Go walking, but saving flower seeds has got to be a touch different than your typical tomato or something that's been like that. You've got to hit it in the right timing, I'm guessing.
Yes, and with a lot of the native plants, they have not been domesticated. So they don't want to do what we want them to do. They don't want to germinate exactly when we want them to. You know, they're going to wait for certain cues from nature to let them know that it's time to sprout. And they also have that wide genetic diversity that gives one seed the cue to sprout at one time, whereas another seed will wait for another month or two before it will sprout.
They're like Gen X seeds. They're counterculture. Don't tell me what to do all the time. I'm going to do it my own way.
Yes, they are. And we love them for that.
They're like your special little project seeds. Everybody's got a project. So being in a cooperative, managing a cooperative, there's just so many personalities. And so many challenges and little geographic concerns, and some have better access to water, some don't have better access to water. What are some of the biggest challenges facing our regional seed producers today?
I think that the biggest challenge our growers face is the isolation requirements that are needed. A lot of our farmers are located in urban areas. Yeah. So there are certain crops like cucumbers that they just cannot grow them near other gardens. So that's the biggest challenge that people are facing. We have tried isolation tents where insects are put into the tents to pollinate the plants that are in there. But there's been limited success with that. Some crops do okay and other crops do not do well
so
with
bees being one of our biggest, cross-pollinators, and that's ultimately the risk. So you literally got to put a biodome around this thing and be like nothing else allowed.
Yes.
And how does one know when it's cross-pollinated? I mean, there's got to be some sort of science in there.
For most crops, you will not know until the following year when the crop is grown from seed again, that seed that was saved. That's when you would see that it was cross-pollinated because some of the plants would look different or the fruit would look different.
Similarities or, a leaf pattern change.
Yes.
3 versus 4, things like that.
Yeah, change in color, change in size. And that's not necessarily bad, but when we're selling seed commercially, we do want it to grow true to type as much as possible.
The variant is the variant, right? What's on the label is what you have. And I think that's a really great thing. When you go to snakeriverseeds.com and when you're looking at the seeds that you are about to purchase, you are buying something from somebody that you could probably be visiting within an hour's drive somewhere close to that. And what's in the package is what is actually in it. And it was grown. I mean, this is cheesy, but it was grown with love and care, right? It's not just a straight up, we're going to sell as many seeds to these dang humans as possible, right? Like there's just some good love and care in it.
Yes, that's so true. We would love to see people learn how to save their own seeds so they don't even have to buy from us anymore. You can buy our seeds once, plant them, save the seeds, and keep going.
And you're empowering folks to be able to do that, right? It's like cold fusion, right? It's like, we just gave free energy out to everybody. We're not trying to get you back into the snakeriverseeds.com and buy those same seeds every year. The Snake River Seed Cooperative would welcome you down to learn a seed saving course, or go to their YouTube and look up the Snake River Seed Co-op, and I'm sure watch tons of content on techniques of how to save different seeds. And I think that's what is very interesting to me as a host of the Great Idaho Show is I love truth and I love empowering people with the ability to take care of themselves with the information. And if you like convenience, just go to snakeriverseeds.com, buy all the convenience that they can, put it in your gardens. It was grown here. It was made for our climate. They are supporting you with content on how to do that effectively. But at the same time, if you're really interested and they've empowered you to save your own seeds, it's weird when you have a business. It's not a business technically, it's a cooperative. They've empowered you to not even have to do business with them anymore.
Yes, it is quite rare.
That is rare. Mm-hmm. That is a genuine motivation to me. And I like that. And I know that in the early days that me and my families participated in that. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. What do you think the 5 to 10 year vision of the Snake River Seed Co-op is?
Yeah, we really want to see more successful small scale farmers who are operating on secure land, who have the amount of seed crops that they want to have with us, the right balance. That's something that we really want to see grow because, as we all know, the cost of land is very challenging for new farmers. So that is something that we are hopeful for in the future, that more small scale farmers will be operating and having great success.
Okay. In radio, it's terrible to ask yes or no questions because it's a binary question. Do you have a garden at home?
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite seed from the Snake River Seed Cooperative? What is your favorite curiosity?
So right now, it probably changes every year.
Yeah.
Right now, my favorite variety that Snake River Seeds is offering is Love's Baby Bump Watermelon.
Okay, cool.
It has a wonderful story to it. There's actually a plant breeder named Stephen Love who works at the University of Idaho as an urban agriculture specialist.
Wow.
And what he did was he collected cold germinating watermelon seeds from all over the world. He grew them all out in a, mass population and started doing selection for what grew best in Aberdeen, Idaho.
Wow, okay.
So this variety, it still has quite a bit of genetic diversity. Not every plant looks identical to every other plant, which we love that. And the name Baby Bump, Love's Baby Bump Watermelon, it actually was in 2023, I was growing the plant and I was pregnant. Oh. So I was out there harvesting 25-pound fruit watermelons. Yeah. While pregnant with my big belly. So that's how the name came together.
And then, if you're the life mate, the male, you can put that watermelon under your shirt and fit right in.
Yes.
To the old baby bump.
Saran wrap it around.
Yeah. I love watermelon. I grew up in Hagerman. There's watermelon all over in Hagerman. I had a place where I could walk right out my backyard and probably shouldn't have been, but grab a watermelon every once in a while and eat that. And I love that we can successfully grow a watermelon right here in Idaho. And now it sounds like we have a seed that was developed right for it.
Yes, it's really such a wonderful variety. I recommend it to everyone.
That is cool. You can go to snakeriverseeds.com. You can look at all their varieties. You can look up Snake River Seed Co-op on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And this is Dylan Stalker, your host of the Great Idaho Show. The Snake River Seed Co-op is definitely an organization that is great here right in Idaho. Thank you for listening today. If you want to hear this interview with Reiley Carney of the Snake River Seed Cooperative, you can go to thegreatidahoshow.com and listen anytime.